So today we're a day late on this. Actually, we're a day late on this. So this is something that we saw yesterday. I do want to apologize again to being so late on news, and I appreciate everyone that's kind of been still watching the channel in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, it's been kind of a mad out situation where I've just been all over the place, been absolutely all over the place. So I do appreciate everyone that's still sticking around. But yeah, we got to go and talk a little bit about Sophie Cunningham and her very clearly wanting to still be a member of the Fever. And I don't think anyone is surprised at this. I don't think anyone should be surprised at this. Like, I think we all know that Sophie Cunningham's preference is to be on the Indiana Fever. I think we all know that if Sophie Cunningham is, she knows a lot of her brand deals, not that they're necessarily tied to her being a member of the Fever, but she knows that she makes way more money as a member of the Fever. Like, I don't think there is a more self-aware person in the WNBA than Sophie Cunningham. And I think that's one of the reasons why Sophie Cunningham has been so successful, is that she knows exactly how to she knows that she's never going to be the main character, but she knows exactly how to be that secondary, tertiary character, how to get her and to benefit herself in doing that. Like, that is something as well that Sophie Cunningham absolutely does. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Sophie Cunningham's just doing it all for her own clout. And it's like, well, to an extent, yes. To an extent, absolutely. But also to an extent, she's a good teammate. Like, she stayed in the league long before it. Diana Taurasi loved her. So at the end of the day, when it comes to Sophie Cunningham, she is somebody that knows exactly what she's doing. She knows how to play the game. And Sophie Cunningham clearly wants to be a member of the Fever. I think the only way I've said it is that if she's not a member of the Fever, is if the Fever lowball her so bad that she can't make up the money. Like, I still think that at the end of the day, she's probably worth 2/3 of a max contract, whatever the max contract is, and maybe she takes a $200K discount to play with the Fever. And I think the only way she doesn't play with the Fever is if a team offers her a max contract and the Fever can't afford to keep her. Like, say the Fever's let's say the max contract's 1.3 and somebody offers her 1.3 and the Fever's valuation for her is 500K. She's not going to turn down 800 grand to play for the Fever. But if it's a 200K difference, I think she'll take that hometown discount. So anyway, let's take a listen to what she said.
WNBA moment so far. Ooh, well, I think the obvious one would be what happened this year. But
what happened this year? I was just like, what happened this year? Her attacking JC Sheldon?
I think my favorite W moment is actually getting traded to the Indiana Fever. Like, just to be closer to home, being back in the Midwest culture has been absolutely amazing. The girls were awesome, and so I think overall, just having a new start.
And she has made, I'm not joking when I say this, Sophie Cunningham has probably, in terms of her brand value, 10x'd it. Like, as far as I'm aware with her podcast, I think she's being funded on the podcast. Like, I think she is being funded on the podcast. Because it's Cowherd's that's pushing, isn't it? I think it's Cowherd. So if you guys don't know, a lot of these podcasts ran by like The Volume, a lot of these podcasts ran by these podcast studios. They sort everything out. They give you a set fee and you kind of show up and you just do the podcast. And that's the thing where it's like Sophie Cunningham's podcast, again, at times in the year, absolutely killing it, at times doing kind of nothing. But at the end of the day, it is one of those things that The Volume are pumping money into. And if Sophie Cunningham's not relevant, not a member of the Indiana Fever, there's no money being pumped into this. Let's be completely real. There's no company like The Volume. Colin Cowherd's not pumping money into this.
Was huge, and so I'm just grateful that I'm or I guess I was. I don't know if I will be a Fever, but just getting traded was pretty cool.
Go-to spot when you're home here in Columbia?
He's like, I don't know if I will be a Fever. I think everybody knows that when it comes to Sophie Cunningham, from the very start, people were like, oh, when she was like, in a lot of situations, she wasn't like kind of talking about the Fever, and she was talking about like she's gone. I think everyone even knew from the very, very start that everybody, like that she wants to be a member of the Fever, and that the only reason, if she's sour towards the Fever, it's because of the organization has basically told her, yeah, we're not signing you. And there is a world where that's going to happen. Like, I don't really care what anyone says. There's a world where the Indiana Fever just say, we can't afford to keep you, Sophie Cunningham. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And I do think when it's all said and done, Sophie Cunningham is is going to go down. Whether she stays or doesn't stay with the Fever, her relevance is kind of going to be there. And we've seen it to an extent with players like, again, players that have had the kind of Caitlin Clark / Angel Reese teammate effect, the Kennedy Carters of the world. And to be honest, like, even Marina Mabry is still kind of relevant based on that, even though obviously she is kind of a crash rate artist. So I don't think when it comes to Sophie Cunningham that every single bit of her off-court popularity is due to her being a member of the Fever. Like, I think if it turns out that she's gone from the Indiana Fever and she's no longer a Fever player, but it comes from a situation of like the Fever don't want her anymore, the Fever aren't willing to pay her what she's worth and she's taking extra money elsewhere, I don't think that would be held against her in the public eye at all. Like, if she pulled a Duana or just came out and started shitting on the Fever and shitting on everyone in the Fever, it's very different. It's very, very different. But like, look, at the end of the day, it's we all know when it comes to Sophie Cunningham that she is so clued in with everything, whether it comes to on the court, whether it's off the court, brand deals, any sort of fame and hype. We know that Sophie Cunningham is clued in, and we know that she's going to do what she can to be as relevant in the popular culture as possible. And she's going to weigh up every single thing before deciding whether or not she wants to sign or not sign with Fever. If it turns out, like, the fact is that if the Fever don't want her, if the organization does not want her, she will, like, that will be said in a podcast of like, they didn't offer me. It was like, they didn't offer me anywhere near enough money, or they didn't even offer me a contract. If they Dylan Brooks her, like, if they Memphis Grizzlies with Dylan Brooks her, it's just, for me, that type of shit will end up being a really, really bad look for the Indiana Fever. And I would be shocked if they get rid of her, because you can't really replace Sophie Cunningham that cheap. She has like a 63% true shooting. She is second to Leo Phoebus in true shooting percentage. Like, you can't replace Sophie Cunningham without a near max contract. A near max contract. Like, that is the reality of the situation, is it will cost a near max contract to replace Sophie Cunningham. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys want Sophie Cunningham to still be on the Fever? Because I know some people are like, oh, get rid of her, all the off-court stuff. Get rid of her. And I'm like, it's one of those things where Sophie Cunningham absolutely is irreplaceable on the court. Like, you can like or dislike Sophie Cunningham, but at the end of the day, what she gave on the court, especially, there was a time last season right before she got injured, through a 3 or 4 game spell where, I'm not joking, Sophie Cunningham was the Fever's second best player. Like, there were times where she was outplaying Kelsey Mitchell in games. She outplayed Leah. She went through a 4-game stretch where I'm telling you, she was outplaying Leah Boston. There was games where they were losing, like the game they lost to the Phoenix Mercury, where it was literally just Sophie Cunningham trying to carry the team by herself and doing what she did and the efficiency she did. The fact that she was the 1A, 1B in the Commissioner's Cup final with Natasha Howard. Tash Howard got it for her defense, but Sophie Cunningham was a 1B. And from that moment onward, I think Sophie Cunningham was one of the better players on the Indiana Fever team. And she was a player who deservedly knocked both Lexi Hull and Dwana Bonner off starting positions. Deservedly. So I would absolutely keep Sophie Cunningham under there's no circumstances I would get rid of her. Let's be real, there's no circumstances I would get rid of her. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.